All right, so today I want to, we're in the small room in the, on the SSL 900 AWS, and I wanted to show you how I use the RedNet in here. First we bring it up. That's the first thing we have to do. And the very first page that comes up is the Red16 line. If you look right here, you can see the Red16 line. It's coming up. You'll see right here that the Red16 line comes through. When you click on here, we see all of the different pages for the Red16 line. But this is primarily the one that you want to look at. If you go through the monitor side, this is the outputs. If you go to the input, this is where the inputs are coming in, and this is the outputs. So what we do is when we are using this with the Pro Tools only, what happens is the output, these 16 outputs right here, go to the first 16 channels of the SSL console. So basically you've got 16 outputs to go into the first 16 channels. That way you can actually mix through the console, maybe in being stems, but you still can mix with 16 individual outs. Now, if we go look at the Pro Tools, well, if we look at the outputs here, one thing that what sets these to be for Pro Tools is when we go up here to the file and we say load device load. When we click on that, we will see down here these red setup 1, setup 2. Setup 1 is so the 16 outputs will go into the console. That's setup 1. Setup 2 is where 8 will go into the console and the other 8 become part of a Dante network. So if I want to bring, say, Mike Prees from the recital hall into here, I actually turn the 9 through 16 into the Dante controller. So I could bring 8 mics out of the recital hall into this console and then use it however I want. I can bus it out to a live stream or whatever. But I'll show you what happens when we look for a minute with this. When we go to the output here, and we see these, see 9 through 16, they're showing they're on Dante. Well, this is what gets switched when you go to the different files. When you go to a device load, and you go here, and you switch to 1, and then you open it, it'll pick what's the default. If there were more than one, you would only pick this red line, and so it comes up. But basically, you pick that, you say OK, and now you can see all of these turned into playback right into the console. No more Dante on here, just the console. And so right now, if I opened up Pro Tools, I would have 16 playbacks. The first 16 would be into the channels on the console on the SSL. So that's the default one that you'll probably be using it the most out of all the things. That'll be what you use the most. But if you were trying to bring Dante in, you would go up here, and now you would open the device load. You would come up here and pick setup 2. Same thing. Go through the steps, picks, that's the one you're picking, say OK, and now you can see they've all turned back into Dante. So the console is now getting a Dante feed. And that's basically the only two things that are changing. Now, every time you put a new setup in, you have to go back. All these outputs go to 0, because when you change a setting, they don't know if there's going to be signal on there, so they mute these. So you have to make sure every time you change that, you go back in here and you bring these up. You go through they're in pairs. You bring them up and make sure they're all on again, or you won't get anything going into the board. You'll see the signals, but you won't get anything coming into the board. So that's the thing. Watch when I change this now to another. If I load this setup again, device load, go to setup 1, I'll just redo it and pick it, see them all mute out. So that's the real thing you got to remember is once you change something, or even if you're getting nothing coming out, come look here because somebody else might have changed it, and make sure all of these are brought up to Unity. That's basically all the way up. Other than that, the other things on this unit has to do with now you have to be on the network. See these up here, these tabs, these different tabs? I've made those. They would be different on every computer because they're just made. Now what you would have to do if you want to get on the network to see these, see right now if I show N119, I show them all, but there's nothing awake there. They're all just, they've been put in here, but there's nothing showing up because now I have to log in to the Dante network. So what you have to do is you have to go up here to the Dante domain manager. You click on that and you log in. There's operator right there, and you know your password is operator1 with the O capital. So when you log into that, all of a sudden you get a pull-down screen over here. It's on unmanaged. Since this is a tab made for room N119, if I go over here to the domain of N119 and click on it, you will see now all of these start showing up in the RedNet control. They become active because it is now on the network looking at those. So when I go to, so everything going on I'm seeing right now coming from the network. Now if I go to, say, H125, there's again, they're blank until I go over here to the pull-down screen and select H125, and then they become active. And you can see over here is where all the devices are showing up. Everything that can be pulled in from this domain, which was made in the Dante Domain Manager, which that's another story, but all of those can be seen, pulled into this window. Now, each new window starts with a blank. You pick how many devices are going to be in each window. So in this particular case, there's 12 that'll go there, there's 6, and then here's a full window. And so if I were to be wanting to make a new one, I would pick, and now I've got a blank screen, and I could go to somewhere and pull in available devices. If I pull these in from another domain, it will tell me you're already using this device in another domain. Do you want to change? So I won't change this now. I'll go ahead and close this out and get rid of it. But again, I'm here in N119, but until I go over here and pull in the domain of N119, they don't become active. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 7, but yet I see a 7 over here. Now, notice how these are all italicized, the active ones, but here's one that's just normal text, meaning it has not been pulled into a window. So if I pull this 7 into here and drop it in, and I move it, oh, I'm sorry, it should have been the, here, this one. There we go. So I did wrong. I put 8 where 7 was. Let's see if I can pull this over here. Yeah, let's do, oh no. Okay, so I've got 7 in here now, and now I could go up to 8 and pull that into 8. So now all of these are showing in this screen, and now these are they're italicized now, showing they're already being used. Here's more Dante devices, but they aren't RedNet. They're virtual sound cards. So they still show up here, but you cannot pull them in. The top window is RedNet devices or devices that'll pull in to this controller, this RedNet controller. These are just showing these are other Dante devices, that so you could get a visual of how many devices, Dante devices, are in this domain, which I selected from over here. So you can see I've selected it from over here. So that basically is how this RedNet controller works. It's really, you'll probably be using it for the RedNet control, because that's what's coming back through the console. And next, I think I'll show how to use the mic inputs from the room into the console. So we'll close this out now.